Tom, I see you've been smashing your fluency goals lately. People keep asking me, how does he have time to study so much? But I know the truth. You aren't actually studying for hours, are you?
Not at all. In fact, if I tried to study for 2 hours a day, I'd quit in a week. I use a simple 10-minute micro habit. It's the only way I stay consistent without burning out.
Common mistake. I need to find 2 hours every day to study English. Native way. I just carve out 10 minutes a day to keep my English sharp.
Carving out 10 minutes sounds so much more manageable, right? It doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like a quick check-in with my progress.
That's the micro habit philosophy. You aren't building a mountain. You're just taking a few steps every single day. Consistency beats intensity every single time.
Exactly. When I commit to just 10 minutes, I never have an excuse to skip it.
Let's show them exactly what that 10-minute trick is.
Engagement tip. Could you commit to just 10 minutes a day for your English? Comment "I'm in" if you're ready to start this 10-minute challenge. Down below.
So, Tom, let's get right into it. What happens in these 10 minutes? I heard you've turned your morning coffee into a language lesson.
It's the simplest thing. I call it the morning narrative. While I'm making my coffee and getting ready, I just narrate my movements out loud in English for 10 minutes.
Common mistake. Now I am taking the coffee, and I am putting the milk. Native way. I'm just grabbing a mug, pouring in some coffee, and splashing in a bit of milk.
See the difference? Grabbing, pouring, splashing, those are real active verbs. Instead of describing my life like a robot, I'm describing it like a human.
That's brilliant. You're connecting vocabulary to your physical actions. It's impossible to forget words when you're literally holding the object you're talking about.
Exactly. And by doing it for just 10 minutes, I'm warming up my brain before I even start my workday. It feels like a stretch for my speaking muscles.
You're turning a mundane morning chore into a high-intensity fluency workout. No textbooks, just you and your kitchen.
Engagement tip. What is one thing you're doing right now? Try to describe it in 3 simple English sentences in the comments. Don't worry about grammar. Just describe it. Down below.
Okay, so your morning is covered with the morning narrative. But what about the rest of the day? Do you just stop there?
Not at all. That's where the notice and note strategy comes in. During my busy day, I only need 10 minutes total to pick out one interesting phrase I hear or read and just note it down.
Common mistake. I try to learn 50 new words every day. Native way? I just pick one phrase that catches my ear and I stick with it for the day.
The mistake I used to make was trying to memorize a whole list. Now I just grab one piece of gold, like keep an eye on or get the hang of it, and I use it as much as I can until I own it.
That's so much more sustainable. You're not overwhelming your brain, you're letting it focus on one thing at a time. It's quality over quantity.
Exactly. When you only have 10 minutes to notice and note, you become like a hunter looking for the best phrases. It turns language learning into a treasure hunt.
And by focusing on just one thing, you're far more likely to actually use it in a real conversation. You're building a collection of power phrases instead of a graveyard of forgotten dictionary words.
Engagement tip. What's one phrase you heard today that sounded cool or natural? Write it in the comments. Let's see if we can help each other use it correctly. Down below.
We've got the morning narration and the notice and note treasure hunt. But what happens at the end of the day? Do you just shut off your brain?
Not quite. I wrap up my 10 minutes with the 3-minute reflection. Before I head to bed, I take 3 minutes to summarize the biggest highlight of my day out loud.
Common mistake. Today was a good day. I did many things. Native way. The highlight of my day was definitely when I finally nailed that presentation.
See? Instead of a boring list of events, I focus on the highlight. Using the word finally nailed or the highlight of my day makes me sound like a natural storyteller, not a news reporter.
That's such a clever way to end the day. You're not just practicing English, You're practicing expressing emotion and importance.
It makes me reflect on my day while I practice. It's calming, and it helps me organize my thoughts. It turns my daily experience into a mini story I tell myself.
You're essentially turning your life into a journal, but the ink is your voice. 3 minutes, 1 story, 0 textbooks.
Engagement tip? What was the highlight of your day so far? Try to summarize it in just 1 or 2 natural sentences in the comments below. We'll be reading them down below.
We've covered narrating and reflecting, but let's talk about the sound of your English. A lot of people have the right vocabulary, but still sound a bit stiff. How do you keep your 10 minutes focused on that natural rhythm?
That's where the shadowing sprint comes in. For exactly 5 minutes, I pick a short audio clip, like a podcast or a movie scene, and I speak exactly at the same time as the speaker.
Native contrast. Common mistake. I listen to the audio and then I repeat after it. Native way. I shadow the speaker. I match their pace, their pauses, and their energy.
Shadowing is the secret weapon. By overlapping my voice with theirs, I don't have time to think about grammar. I just have to copy the rhythm. It's like being a musical instrument that needs to hit the right notes.
Exactly. You're focusing on the music of the language, the intonation, the stress, and the flow. When you shadow, you're physically training your mouth to move the way a native speaker's does.
And doing it as a sprint for just 5 minutes makes it intense. I'm fully focused, I'm listening intently, and I'm speaking at a natural speed. It's a total game changer for confidence.
You're not just repeating words, you're capturing the vibe. That's the difference between a student and a speaker. For the viewers, engagement tip. Try to find a 30-second clip of your favorite English speaker. Shadow them just once. Did you feel the difference in how your mouth moved? Tell us how it felt in the comments below. We've covered shadowing, which is great for rhythm. But sometimes when people talk to a native speaker, they get nervous and their brain just freezes. How do you prepare for that real-world pressure in just 10 minutes?
Oh, I love this one. It's the speed talking challenge. I set a timer for 60 seconds and try to explain a complex topic, like why I like my job or how to make pasta, as fast as I can.
Native contrast. I have to speak slowly so I don't make any grammar mistakes.
Native way. I just let it flow and don't worry about being perfect. Speed helps me think on my feet. Thinking on my feet is the goal. When I force myself to talk fast, my brain stops trying to translate grammar rules and starts focusing on just getting the meaning across. It's messy, it's fast, and it's surprisingly effective.
That's brilliant. By removing the time to overthink, you're forced to use the words you actually know, not the ones you're trying to remember from a textbook. It's a great way to build conversational stamina.
Exactly. The first time I did it, I sounded like a disaster. But after a few days, I noticed that my natural speaking pace was getting smoother because my brain was getting used to the pressure.
You're essentially training your brain to switch from analysis mode to execution mode.
For the viewers,
Pick a simple topic and talk for 60 seconds straight without stopping. Don't worry about being perfect. Just talk. Did you get stuck? If not, tell us what you talked about down below. Okay, Tom, we've worked on speed and rhythm. But what about those moments when we get stuck in a conversation because we don't know a specific word? Most people just freeze up.
That's the classic language block. My 10-minute trick for this is the what-if scenario. I pick a random situation, like, what if I lost my passport at the airport? And I spend 10 minutes figuring out how to explain it using only the simple words I already know.
Native contrast. Common mistake. I get stuck because I don't know the exact word for passport or embassy. Native way. I just describe it. I lost my travel ID, and I need to find the place that helps me get home.
finding the place that helps me get home? That's just as effective as saying embassy. The goal isn't to be a dictionary. The goal is to be a communicator.
I love that. You're practicing circumlocution. the art of describing something when you don't know the formal term. It's the ultimate survival skill for fluency.
It builds so much confidence. When you realize you don't need the perfect word to be understood, you stop being afraid of losing your place in a conversation.
You're turning your brain into a problem solver instead of a translator. To the viewers, engagement tip. Here's your challenge. How would you describe a refrigerator without using the word refrigerator? Give it a shot in the comments.
Tina, Tom, we've tackled getting stuck and speaking fast, but sometimes people find it hard to keep a conversation going. They ask one question, get an answer, and then silence. How do you fix that in 10 minutes?
That's when I use the Q&A loop. For 10 minutes, I practice being both the interviewer and the interviewee. I ask a question, answer it, and then immediately ask a follow-up question to myself.
Tina, common mistake. I ask one question and then I wait for the other person to talk. Native way. I ask a question, share my answer, and then dive deeper with a follow-up.
The follow-up is where the magic happens. If I ask, "How was your day?" instead of just saying, "It was fine," I add, "It was actually pretty busy. How about yours? Did anything interesting happen?" It keeps the conversation alive.
Exactly. You're essentially creating a chain of thought. By practicing this on your own, you're training your brain to look for those follow-up opportunities before you're even in a real conversation.
It makes me feel much more confident when I meet someone new. I don't have to scramble to think of what to say next. It's like I've already rehearsed the flow about it.
You're not just learning English, you're learning the art of connection. Tina, for the viewers, engagement tip. Practice the Q&A loop right now. Ask me a question about language learning in the comments, and then answer it yourself as if you were me. I'll tell you how you did, down below.
Tina, we've covered everything from narrating your day to maintaining conversation flow. But Tom, let's be honest. We all make mistakes. Does your 10-minute trick include a way to actually fix them?
Absolutely. This is the most important one. The error audit. I record myself speaking for 2 minutes on my phone. Then I spend the remaining 8 minutes listening to the recording and catching my own mistakes.
Common mistake. I just hope I'm speaking correctly and ignore my errors. Native way. I listen to myself and spot the patterns where I usually stumble.
It's painful at first. Nobody likes hearing their own voice, but it's the best teacher I've ever had. I notice things like, oh, I always forget to add the S to the verb, or I keep saying discuss about when it should just be discuss.
That's pure gold. You're becoming your own coach. By the time you listen to the third or fourth version of that same 2-minute clip, you've usually self-corrected the major issues.
Exactly. And because I found the mistakes myself, I remember them way better than if a teacher had just corrected me. It sticks because I heard it happen.
You're closing the gap between what you think you're saying and what you're actually saying. That's the fastest way to polish your speech.
For the viewers, engagement tip. Record yourself speaking for just 60 seconds about your favorite hobby. Listen to it once. What is one tiny thing you noticed you could improve? Share it below. Don't be shy.
Tina, we made it to the final day, Tom. 10 days, 10 tricks, and a whole new way to view fluency. Looking back, what is the most important lesson from this 10-minute experiment?
The biggest lesson is that time was never the problem. It was intensity. By shrinking my practice down to 10 minutes, I stopped treating English like a boring homework assignment and started treating it like a part of my personality.
The 10-minute recap. Morning narrative. Connect language to your physical world. Notice and note. Hunt for one piece of gold every day. 3-minute reflection. Turn your day into a story. Shadowing sprint. Match the rhythm, not just the words. Speed talking. Execute. Don't analyze. What if? Learn to describe, not translate. Q&A loop? Keep the conversation alive. Error audit? Be your own best coach.
The biggest lesson is that time was never the problem. It was intensity. By shrinking my practice down to 10 minutes, I stopped treating English like a boring homework assignment and started treating it like a part of my personality.
It's all about making the language a companion rather than a chore. You proved that you don't need to live in an English-speaking country or spend hours at a desk to see real progress. Exactly. All you need is 10 minutes and the willingness to just use the language. To everyone watching, don't wait for more time. Start your 10 minutes right now. You've inspired all of us, Tom. Keep narrating, keep shadowing, and most importantly, keep speaking.